This is Paula Hodgson from the Chinese University of Hong Kong. First, I would like to send my apologies that I cannot present this paper in person, as I am now in Boston. And today, I have the honor to present the paper, MOOCs, Potential for Extending Learning Experiences, with my co-author, Betty Ho. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to talk about MOOCs, which means Massive Open Online Courses, and what type of law courses can be found in MOOCs, and how these MOOC courses can provide a blended learning experiences to students. Finally, I'll talk about what things that law educators can consider when implementing MOOCs in their teaching. While there are many MOOC platforms available, we're going to talk about edX and Coursera. Law we'll be discussing this paper are justice, contract law, intellectual property law and policy, focusing on copyright and trademark laws, English common law, structure and principles, a law student's toolkits, copyright for multimedia. Founders of MOOCs have a very clear vision, that is, democratization of education. What it meant is anyone who can have access to the internet can have free education. In other words, for learners, despite where you live, you can be taught by world-class scholars. These teachers who are from different universities, they can indicate and show international practices. What it meant is learners not just learn about knowledge, but they can also have built up a heightened awareness of differences in different culture. The first course of MOOC was offered in 2012. In the first 2 years, there were about 1,000 courses offered. But between 2014 to 15, another 1,000 courses was added. And now, 2016 March, we have over 4,000 courses offered. There are over 3 dozens of MOOC platforms available around the world. However, Coursera offers 1,888 courses. We are talking about nearly half of courses were offered through Coursera, and 947 courses are through edX, which is almost equivalent to a quarter of courses. Of the 6 MOOC law courses that we're going to look into, 3 of them are offered through edX, and 3 of them are offered through Coursera. You might also notice actually a course on copyright for multimedia was offered through the collaboration between 3 universities. Since 2013, Justice is the first Harvard course to be made freely available on public. Students spend 12 weeks with 2 to 4 hours per week studying the course, which is almost equivalent to a full university course. However, this course does not count for academic credit. Justice is taught by a renowned professor from Harvard University, Professor Michael Sandel. Although this is an introductory level of course, it's been translated to 5 languages already. And according to the online course report, this is one of the 15 most popular MOOCs of all time. The second course we would like to share with you is Contract Law, From Trust to Promise to Contract, and it is offered from Harvard University. This course is slightly shorter, only 8 weeks. Again, students can spend 2 to 3 hours per week to study the content. As an intermediate course, Professor Fried from Harvard University has used a lot of classical cases to illustrate the concepts on contracts. And there are many interesting animations, and so the students can enjoy the cases very much. Afterwards, there will be a number of situations to test our understanding of these cases. The third course we would like to share with you is Intellectual Property Law and Policy, offered by edX. This is a two-part series of verified course. What it meant is, students can choose to study in one course, or they can choose both of the course in order to get a series certificate. This course, again, only lasts for 7 weeks, and each week students can spend 2 to 3 hours per week. The two-part series of MOOC was offered by Paul Webner. You may notice that the first part was offered in February and the second part was offered in April. Currently, this is closed, so whoever will want to join this intermediate course has to wait for the next offer. Having seen 3 examples from edX, let's look at Coursera. This course, English Common Law, Structure and Principles. This course lasts for 6 weeks, and each week students are expected to spend 1 to 2 hours per week to study the course. This course is to be offered by Professor Giro from University of London. This round will be offered in June. Students can choose to attend the course with no certificate, or they can pay $49 if they can meet the threshold of the requirement of the completion. A law student's toolkit was offered by Yale University. This course, different from others, is that it lasts only for 3 weeks. However, each week students are expected to spend 5 to 7 hours per week. Taught by Professor Airy, students must do all the assignment, and they must meet 80% of passing rate in all graded assessment. The last course I'm sharing with you is Copyright for Multimedia. As you attend this course, you got inputs from 3 universities. It lasts only for 4 weeks, and each week is 1 to 2 hours. The course is instructed by Kevin, Lisa, and Anne. They will work in pairs to share with us the copyright of data, images, music, audio files, film and video files. As this is a self-paced course, students can take their own pace, that is as fast as they would like to complete the course. Having seen the varieties of MOOCs in law, learners, despite of their background, can freely access to any of those. Students from any part of the world can join in any MOOC. Just look at the course on contract. You're talking about thousands of students from 190 countries. Students enrolled in MOOCs have very diverse experience. Some of them are practitioners working in law firms, but you also get people working in other disciplines, or some of them are students and retirees. The diverse background and working experience often create very good discussion. For example, here's a case of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. Is it a 1 occurrence or 2 occurrences for the insurance to cover the loss? There are 66 postings on this, and afterwards, the student can debate whether it's 1 occurrence or 2 occurrences. Among the voluntarily discussion, you can sense that there are many voices, opinions, and perspectives can be read between lines. But at the same time, it does require the learners to be more critical. On one hand, they can assert their thought, but on the other hand, they need to differentiate what is a correct argument and what is not. Although individuals can provide their own assertions in the forum, we also observe individuals provide extra explanation or clarification to communicate with one another. Ultimately, the learning is not just purely from the renowned scholars, but also from the interaction between one another. By looking into, reading, commenting, receiving feedback from one another, they will have a much deeper understanding. Apart from the discussion, students are expected to do some kind of written task so that their work will be graded. How do MOOCs relate to what I'm doing as a teacher? Well, I'm quite sure there is something that we can make use of these resources. Here are the few courses offered at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Hong Kong Constitutional Law, Jurisprudence and Ethics, Contract 1 and 2. Can you imagine what it might mean if these courses are blended with some of the MOOCs? If it were happen, surely they got the benefits of the full professor teaching in the classroom, interaction with their local peers, but at the same time, they were exposed to international scholars as well as international learners. Surely students exposed to MOOCs have an extended experience. What's more important is that they can interact with international scholars as well as their own professors. Students can bring questions from MOOC to the class or from the class to the MOOC environment. The interactions between the peers interaction in class as well as in with the global learners can bring in a lot of benefits. And what's more, students can develop a self-directed learning habits. For the teacher, because they can try out to include this kind of innovative teaching method, it will enrich the teaching materials, and at the same time, they can include the local and international practices so that the students can have a broader sense of the concept. As we would like to teach our students to think like a lawyer, the face-to-face settings allow us to set up a Socratic approach to engage our students so that they can provide spontaneous response to one another. But on the other hand, the online setting will allow the students to reframe what they've been taught through the online context and then compare the local legal practices. I hope by now you will consider to take on a part of MOOC in your traditional teaching because there are so many benefits. But you have to explain your expectation and why you are doing it to your students. You can relate your teaching materials to those who are offering the MOOC. At the same time, you can certainly encourage your students to go through all these tasks so that they can get through another certificate by the end of the course. Moreover, you can think about building your own MOOC, or you can consider to collaborate with other academics so that you can have a joint university MOOC. In this paper, we have shown you a variety of MOOCs in law. We see that students can take the benefit to access valuable resources that are taught by renowned scholars, as well as interaction between global learners. This is certainly a great value for many learners. What's more, law educators can consider to create, if not building their own blended learning course for students who were taught in the campus, but also allowed to be reached by international students. Law students gone through MOOCs can establish, first, the self-directedness in learning. What's more important is that they start building up some self-regulated learning habits, because by then they will see what strength they have, what is the best strategies to learn, and how they can reflect, and by reflecting on how they learn best through MOOCs. Last but not least, law students can be better prepared for the future career because they now have a global mindset as well as a deepened understanding of law practices locally. So I would like to encourage you to take this opportunity to think more for your conventional course. Thank you. Now, this is time for question and answer. I would invite you to raise your question. My co-author Betty will try her best to address you. If not, you can send an email to me, and I would like to continue the dialogue. Thank you very much.